On Daf 61 of Eruvin, the rabbis try to piece together what is kind of a weird scenario. You've got these two cities, these are two actual cities, and the residents of one city were allowed to go into the other city on Shabbat, but the second city couldn't go into the first. So why is it if these two cities, they're close enough that they should be able to carry in both, then why did it only work one direction, not the other direction? And they said, well, the residents of the city, one city put a barrier between the two cities, and they kind of declared that as made their Eruv there, and it was close enough that they could go into both cities. But the other city didn't erect their own barrier, and so they didn't use that, so they could only measure the 2,000 amot from their homes. That's the first position we get. But then this other rabbi comes and says, no, you don't know the scenario there at all. It's got nothing to do with this Eruv stuff. It's because the residents of this one city were really violent people. They're really violent people, and you didn't want the residents of the other city to come in. They'd get beat up if they were to visit that city. And they say, well, if that's the case, well, why is this a Shabbos prohibition? Because the whole thing, is supposed to happen, all the time. They could get beat up there. Why don't they can never go there? And they say, no, because on Shabbat, people drink. So if people are drunk, then there's going to be a whole issue that they're going to be beating people up more. But during the week, it's not such a big issue. And well, if this is the case, these people are so violent, then why allow the violent people to go into the other cities? Like, a dog in a not in his home won't bark for 7 years. It's a weird phrase saying that, when they're outside of their home, they're not going to feel as comfortable. When they go to the other city, they're not going to feel as comfortable. So the violent people could travel to the non-violent place, but the non-violent people couldn't travel to the violent place, is what we're saying. And they say, well, aren't we worried about like the non-violent people taking revenge when the violent people came into their cities? And no, they're much more docile people. They don't really do that type of thing. So we have this whole scenario we're trying to figure out in terms of understanding the rules of Eruvin. And in the end, we kind of say, no, this has nothing to do with that. It's all about minimizing the violence that these people will get inflicted upon them if they go into this violent city where people will beat them up.